In a rap scene where ignorance and straight up stupidity usually leads to great yet short-term rewards, is it seems like there's no real reward for trying to mature and learn as an artist. Yet if you look closely, the real and more generational talents that are in the game for a decade or longer are people who learn to mature and understand the world around them, and not just think that they are the holy messiah of rap and have nothing to learn from and are just a miracle child of the game. I mean, look at Kanye, Jay-Z, and P. Diddy, all people who have been here forever, who although make great music, are almost more known now for their business and overall work in the industry than anything at this point, especially for people like P. Diddy and Jay-Z. Kanye, not so much. But point still stands that if you want to make a generational career, even only a decade long in the game, you have to learn not only to mature as an artist, but as a person, as an entirety. And no artist from the SoundCloud era has done this better for me than 21 Savage. Now I gotta admit, when I first heard about 21 Savage, it must have been the 2016 XSL class, and all I knew about him was he was a guy with a knife tattoo on his forehead and rapped exclusively about drilling and killing and a lot of gang shit, which was fine. That's a normal thing in rap. I don't blame him for talking about those things. It is what he actually went through in his life. But there seems to be a difference, at least for me, when they're exclusively talking about that. And let's just be fair. There's a difference between Drake and Lil Uzi Vert or something saying they're going to whack you compared to a guy with a knife tattoo on his forehead. That's just two different things. Anyway, even though I thought the music was bland, he's actually now one of my favorite artists after growing musically. But anyway, I'm not here to bash on 21. I'm actually here to praise him, and specifically on the amount he's matured in just about 5 years of actually being in the industry. I was first thinking about this when I was watching an old Off the Record podcast where DJ Academics was interviewing 21 Savage, and 21 Savage was just coming off as a huge, chill guy and very mature in the way he speaks. And I was just shocked because I don't think I've seen an interview from him in years at this point. And I was just so fascinated by the way he was actually talking that I was looking more into it. And in the podcast, he says he's willing to play a moderator to the Meek Mill and Academics beef, which, if you don't know, is a whole thing on its own. Meek Mill and DJ Academics have a beef. And 21 Savage is basically equally friends between the both of them and wanted to kind of help squash it out, which in and of itself is a really noble thing to do. And usually if him 5 years ago, I doubt would do that. But yeah, to explain my point, if you're not too familiar with 21 Savage, at least in his past, I'm going to show a video of an interview from when he first popped off to now, and you can really see the difference.
So
I had a platinum album before I signed my deal. See what I'm saying? So
you had a platinum album, independent. You owned your publishing and everything.
Yes, I own my masters.
Okay.
I own my masters right now. Every song you ever heard.
No heart, everything.
I own it.
A lot.
My split, I got a 70-30 split with my label. I get 70, they get 30. I own all my masters. I make money. I make more money off my album sales than I do off touring.
Anyway, it's pretty clear after watching that, but I think the huge turn, at least from my perspective, came after the whole UK immigration thing. I think that as a whole might have changed his whole perspective on what he's doing here and needed to play it a lot more safe at the very least. Not only to grow as a person, which I'm sure he wanted to do, but I mean, he can't really be too associated with all these bad things when he's barely even able to be a citizen now, and the feds are definitely on his case and just looking for something to bring him down. But another thing that probably came out of that is, in an interview, he said that whenever Jay-Z came and basically saved him from all the immigration and all the other stuff that was happening to him and jail time, when 21 tried to repay him, he said, "Nah, don't repay me. Pretty much just be great. Be a good artist. Be a generational artist. Stay in the game for the long run." And I think that might have been something that really resonated with 21 and was able to actually work on himself from there. And that's at least how I see it. Maybe he was already probably working on himself before then, but this definitely, I mean, if Jay-Z tells you to fix yourself, you're going to fix yourself. That's just how it is for a rapper. I mean, who are you to say no to Jay-Z? But real quick before I actually end the video and give any more praise to 21, I want to talk about how good his music has got. Because, I mean, even though his matureness has increased. The music has to change with it, otherwise you're not going to keep growing, at least in the early terms of your career. So another huge turn I saw in his whole career was after he dropped I Am versus I Was. That album was so much different than the subject material before. He didn't really have a solid album before that. They were all they had good songs, but a lot of them were just not tied together as an album, which I think I Am is greater than I Was actually gave him a chance to speak on more serious tones instead of just killing and robbing as his prior albums did, which was a huge turn in the rest of his career. I mean, just looking at Savage Mode 2 compared to Savage Mode 1, although Savage Mode 2 isn't as introspective as I Am, I Was, just overall it's way better. And I mean, I think most people can agree with that. Anyways, I got a lot of happiness for how 21 was able to turn his life around, and he's definitely a role model for a lot of these young rappers nowadays. I know he's mentoring Nardo Wick, and he seems to be having a great effect on him. Nardo came from pretty bad areas, but is already, even with how young he is in the game, already turning his life around and seeming to be not a good role model per se, but at least being a lot more mature with how he handles interviews and things of the such than a lot of younger rappers have prior. So yeah, I can definitely see 21 Savage being a decade-long artist. I personally love his music nowadays. I'm excited for his next album. And yeah, I think he's here for the long haul. Hopefully he can be up there with the rappers who have made a B in this industry. But yeah, that's all for today. If you guys like 21 Savage, if you agree with what I'm saying, that he has increased his maturity a lot, let me know in the comments. If you guys like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's all. Peace.